This is Hussein Farhat, a pathological liar who has recently blown up on the internet for his absolutely insane physique. Hussein lies to his young audience of millions by claiming that he achieved this physique quote-unquote naturally within only 3 years. And this is cookbook salesman and IFBB pro Greg Doucette, who has been helping Hussein perpetuate this lie for his own gain. In this video, I'll be explaining how and why Greg went from calling Hussein out on being a fake natty to helping him lie to everyone about being natural, and even making him a co-owner of Greg's own supplement company in the process. Let's get into it. About a year ago, Hussein blew up on TikTok for his absolutely insane physique and made being a natty his entire brand. However, his rise on TikTok was instantly accompanied by hordes of people calling him out for lying about his natty status. Due to all this attention, Hussein quickly found himself on Greg Doucette's radar, and Greg proceeded to make a natty or not on Hussein, correctly calling Hussein a fake natty. I mean, Greg hits all the notes in this video. He starts off by talking about diminishing returns and how much muscle someone with good genetics could realistically grow in 3 years, which is about 26 pounds, when Hussein gained more than double that, 60 pounds. He also talks about how Hussein didn't gain a single fat cell while putting on 60 pounds of lean contractile tissue. He somehow even managed to get leaner. This goes far beyond any body recomposition that any new lifter in the gym can pull off. This is straight up only possible with performance enhancing drugs. I'll say it again, the guy managed to go from 15% body fat to like 7% body fat, all the while gaining 60 pounds of pure muscle. Take for example me. This is me 3 years ago at 132 pounds and around 13% body fat. And this is me 3 years later at 183 pounds, but also at a much higher body fat percentage of about 18%. I put on a good amount of muscle, but to do so, I also had to put on some fat, because I'm not on performance enhancing drugs.
I hated being skinny, so I dedicated myself every single day. 19 months later, I mean, you saw it with your own eyes. In 19 months, that's 1 year and 7 months, he went from being a skinny guy, he seemed to have some abs, to having a ton of muscle. It's very obvious. It's as if he put 17 years of training in only a matter of 17 months. To me, this is indicative of a guy who is using performance-enhancing drug.
I mean, this just pretty much sums it all up in its entirety. Hussein tries to play it off as if he made 17 years worth of gains in only 17 months. It's quite frankly insulting that he even tries to lie about being natural.
But the amount of transformation that he made, truly unbelievable. I personally don't believe it. If he were on steroids, for the most part, if you were to take steroids and or SARMs and make this kind of transformation, it would still be very impressive. And so even with steroids, this kind of transformation, this kind of physique is very rare.
As Greg correctly points out here, this transformation would be impressive and out of the ordinary even on steroids. It is simply not achievable naturally and definitely not in only 3 years. I mean, just look at his 2-week transformation. This is his transformation after only 4 chest days max, only 4 shoulder days max. I genuinely believe Hussein didn't try training natty for a single day and that he started juicing from day 1. Now, if you think I'm being ridiculous by saying that, just take a look at what Hussein says in this video he only posted a couple of weeks ago titled My Natural 3 Years Transformation.
I wanted to get more girls, basically. That was my goal.
The main thing I had in mind before starting was like, it's going to take so long to get there, so I kept delaying it. But then I was like, fuck, you know, the time's going to go by anyway. Like, I could have started when I was 17. Yeah. Fuck, I'll start right now. And I started when I was 19.
Right here, Hussein gives us his exact reasoning for hopping on gear. He literally says that before he started working out, he put off starting his gym journey because he knew it was going to be a long process and didn't want to wait. This is why he ended up taking a shortcut. He didn't have the patience to do it the natural way and wanted an insane physique as fast as possible. So he simply decided to juice from day 1 and to lie to everyone about being natural. Now after all of this, Greg and Hussein met up for a collab video that Greg titled I Still Think You're a Fake Natty Hussein, where they worked out together, and Greg repeatedly expresses that he still believes there's absolutely no chance that Hussein could be natural.
I've been doing this for 2.5 years now, and I went from 120-ish pounds and I'm 182, 83 now.
So you went from around 120 to 180, so about 60 pounds of muscle in about 2.5 years. And just so you know, that's how much muscle I put in my whole life. He was able to do it in 2 years.
Just listen to Hussein's nervous laugh as he's confronted with how ridiculous his claims of being natty sound when he gained as much muscle in 3 years as an IFBB pro bodybuilder did throughout his entire career.
That's how much muscle I put in my whole life. He was able to do it in 2 years. So I don't know how he's gonna prove me wrong. We're gonna see.
He corrects Greg as if those 6 months make any difference, as if those added 6 months take away anything from the absurdity of his claim.
And so what's your opinion? Jeff Seed, would you say he was natural as a teenager or enhanced?
I would say he's not. He's probably enhanced, probably dabbled in a bit of stuff.
Dude, the blatant shamelessness to correctly say that Jeff Seed was not natty as a teenager, but to then try and pass off your own physique transformation as being 100% natural when it's arguably more impressive than what Jeff was able to do in his first 3 years of training with steroids is just so ridiculous and shameless. This is Jeff Seed's 7-year transformation, which as Hussein correctly states, was achieved by the help of steroids. And here is Hussein's very own transformation that only took 3 years opposed to Jeff's 7 years, which Hussein claims he achieved naturally.
Yeah. Now what about, this is everyone wants to know, David Lade, do you think he's a lifetime natural? Do you think he's natural right now?
I don't think lifetime. I'm pretty sure not, just because of I think he put a lot of, on his bench, a lot of weight. He gained a lot of muscle pretty quickly.
Again, correctly calling David Lade a fake natty, but insisting that his own physique transformation was done naturally when his is more impressive than what David Lade was able to do in that time frame is just so shameless. How can you just repeatedly lie like this?
Would you rather rush to get your gains and then stop, or would you rather slow it down and get it for a long time?
I'd say both, to be honest.
Both, okay.
Yeah, because I like doing stuff quick. Like I said, I've only been doing videos for a year now. So I like, of course, the journey, but I want to get results as fast as possible as well.
Yeah.
Does this not just sound like the exact type of person that would hop on steroids at the start of his fitness journey? Hussein, you're kind of self-reporting here, my man. And yet, after all of this, something changed. Fast forward just a little bit and suddenly the tone shifts. What was once a textbook fake natty case is now being walked back. Why? Because Hussein sent Greg a singular blood panel. A blood panel which showed all the markers as being in the normal range and showed no signs of steroid use.
If he was on HEG, his LH, it would be in the tank. His body wouldn't need to make it, and so he's not on these things. He's clearly natural. Based on the blood work, based on the evidence, this guy, 1 in a million genetics. And so let's see it in the comment section. Do you now believe him? I never believed him, but the proof is in the pudding, and we've analyzed it. The pudding being the blood work, and so what are you going to believe? We have to conclude 100% natural.
So that's it, right? Hussein milled Greg's blood work, Greg analyzed it, and it all checked out. Hussein is 100% natty. Wrong. Greg knows better than anyone that a singular blood panel taken by the accused himself and mailed over to him on the internet can by no measure of reason be taken as conclusive evidence. This isn't just me being overly and unreasonably skeptical. There's a reason why when Matt Does Fitness was accused of being a fake natty, including by Greg Doucette himself, a single blood test was not enough to convince anyone.
I highly doubt that Matt Does Fitness has a sophisticated drug passing system that he's going to be able to beat these tests. And so if he does in fact keep his strength, keep his size, his physique looking the way it does over the next year while being drug tested a number of times, I do believe that makes a strong case that Matt Does Fitness was actually natural all along.
To truly clear his name, Matt had to undergo randomized third-party drug testing. A lab would show up unannounced every month for almost half a year, collect his blood work, and then Derek from More Plates More Dates would analyze it for consistency. All the while, his physique and strength levels were monitored to see if he had lost any size or strength, because if he had simply cycled off of gear, the resulting testosterone suppression would have caused a noticeable decline. Yet when it comes to Hussein Farhat, a guy who made more impressive gains in 3 years than Matt arguably has in his entire lifting career, Greg throws skepticism out of the window and instantly accepts a singular blood panel as proof of natty status. Do you see the contradiction? There's just too many ways that Hussein could have tampered with the blood work. Cycling off of PEDs aside, what he simply could have done is gotten a friend of his who is natty to take a blood test at the same time as he did, and then simply copy his name from his own blood work and Photoshop it onto his friend's clean blood work. There's just so many ways to fake blood work, which Greg obviously knows. But Greg just immediately accepts one singular blood test and against all common logic starts parading Hussein around as a natty phenom. Greg knows better than anyone that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, especially in the fitness industry, and a singular blood test sent to Greg over the internet just doesn't come close to cutting it. But why, Anabolic Sick? Why would Greg just immediately take this dubious blood work at face value when he should obviously know better? Well, what's the single biggest motivator for anything in this world? Money. Hussein is a relatively new up-and-coming fitness influencer who has made a more impressive physique transformation than most of the fitness industry's heavy hitters such as David Lade, Alex Eubanks, etc. As soon as Hussein sent Greg his dubious blood work, Greg, being the prolific businessman that he is, saw an immediate opportunity to proclaim Hussein a natural and therefore be able to sign him to his own supplement company before any other brands could get their hands on Hussein. He basically saw an opportunity to just throw his hands up in the air, play a fool, and pretend like he fully trusts the blood work just so he could be the first to sign Hussein to his brand. This is only proven by the fact that Greg didn't just sign Hussein to his supplement company as an ambassador, he has made Hussein a co-owner of his company. This just goes to show that Greg is incredibly eager to have and keep Hussein on board. If he's eager enough to instantly make Hussein a co-owner, he's definitely more than eager enough to play along with Hussein's lies. Okay, but hold on a second here. Greg wouldn't lie. Greg cuts through all the bullshit all the time. Look at the countless of people he has exposed for being fake natties. Well, dear viewer, Greg Doucette is not a stranger to lying himself. It is widely known within the broader bodybuilding community that Greg Doucette is a retroactive fake natty. He admits he's taken steroids for years, but lies about when he actually started taking them. He claims he did 42 natural bodybuilding shows while being actually natural, and claims he was natural in these pictures. If this physique belonged to any other person, he would never in a million years say that the person in these pictures is natty. Over the course of countless of natty or nots that Greg Doucette has made, he's called out countless of fake natties who looked way less impressive than he did in these pictures, fake natties, while claiming he was 100% natural in these pictures. Now, a lot of people will say, well, Greg is a self-proclaimed manlet. He's about 5'6". Any muscle that he puts on will make him look more impressive than someone that's taller than him. While I still don't think this is in any way achievable naturally even for a short guy with good genetics, I already know that's an argument a lot of people will make. Well, let's take a look at a certain video. This video was taken in April of 2009. As the title states, Greg claims he was natural as of this video. However, only 6 months later, on November the 28th, 2009, Greg Doucette for the first time was caught taking steroids by failing a steroid test during a powerlifting meet. This is subsequently the point he claims he stopped being natty. Now you tell me what's more likely. A. Greg was natural his whole life while having an insane physique, then decided to hop on a cycle for the first time ever and got caught immediately trying to compete in a natural powerlifting meet. Or B. Greg had been juicing for a while and only had to start admitting he was not natural anymore after he got busted. If you want to believe Greg on this matter, you'd have to believe that he looked absolutely nutty and clearly enhanced while being natural, and then gets popped for PED usage while trying to compete in a natural powerlifting meet, but lo and behold, it was the first time he ever hopped on a cycle. To me, the more plausible explanation by a long shot is that Greg was juicing for years but simply got sloppy after a while, failed to pass a drug test, and as damage control claims it was the first time he dipped his hand in the naughty PED jar. To be fair to Greg though, the majority of bodybuilders in his generation were also retroactive fake natties and would very often lie and heavily downplay how many steroids they were using. Now, there's no real way to prove this since we haven't invented a time machine and can't scrupulously drug test Greg in 2008, but I can assure you that if Hussein went through a process of third-party randomized drug testing over the course of nearly a year, if he were to show signs of being natural, his physique would have severely deteriorated because he would have cycled off for the tests. He's 1000% a fake natty, and Greg absolutely knows that Hussein is full of shit. Since all of this, aside from becoming business partners with Hussein, Greg has collaborated with him numerous times and has been promoting Hussein at every step of the way. Although I do believe that Greg is a retroactive fake natty, before this entire Hussein debacle, I also believe that he was a net positive for the fitness industry and was doing a lot of good work calling out fake natties and educating people about what is possible naturally. It is truly sad to see him selling out like this and endorsing such a blatant lie that goes against all the good work he's done for the past couple of years. As for Hussein, there are always going to be people that will have no qualms with lying to however many people necessary in order to become successful. I genuinely have no problem with people that decide to hop on gear, and I even have no problem when these people don't explicitly state that they are on gear. I genuinely believe it's their right to keep it private. But when you actively lie by saying that you are natural and build a whole brand on that lie and deceiving others, especially young people, that's what I have a problem with. And that's what Hussein has been doing. Anywho, that was it for this video. Make sure to subscribe and drop a like if you guys enjoyed it. It helps the channel out tremendously. More videos coming soon. See you guys in the next one.